Welcome to the 2025 MLP Draft Recap. My name is Sean O'Donnell. I'm an associate here at True Pickleball Club, and with me is our general manager, Greg Diedrich. Greg, if you could tell us a little bit about the MLP and
Yeah, so this year we're playing, so it's teams of 4, 2 men, 2 women. All right, so you play a women's match, a men's match, and then 2 mixed doubles matches. If everything's tied, we're actually trying a new Dream Breaker format this year, where let's imagine Sean paired with Jen in the first round of mixed. In the Dream Breaker, he'd have to pair with the other female on his team.
Correct.
And then the other man and woman would also play, so Sean could start with his teammate or the opposite. They'll play to 11, and then they'll flip, and we're going to go to 21. So all 4 players are going to be involved in that, so that's kind of exciting.
and no more singles in the Dream Breaker
Yeah, no
for
more
those
singles.
that were a little concerned about that.
Yeah, we tried a new format for the draft this year. It was an auction draft. Each captain had 100 points to spend. We had all of the players in the draft pool listed by their Duper rating. We went one by one and basically said, who would like to bid on this player?
Yeah, people were very prepared. It went very different than expected, which made it quite fun and interesting.
Yeah, a lot of twists, a lot of surprises. I know my team did not turn out how I had envisioned ahead of time.
I don't think anyone's team really came out exactly as they envisioned.
Okay, we want to move on to some team recaps here.
Yeah, let's go through. We're gonna have Greg's gonna go through and talk about a little bit about each team, and we're just gonna introduce really the players that are going to be on that team, as well as the captains and the team names.
All right, so we'll start off Marina Metzel's team. She was the captain. The Purple Pickles. She got EJ Hakala. Everybody knows EJ, former manager here at True.
Great athlete.
Super athletic, yeah. Frankie Pietricola. Frank plays here all the time. Good player, strong, veteran of the game. And then her other woman, Kate Tymonson. Great pick there. Kate's clearly one of the strongest women in the league. Lefty, which is always great to play with. So that's the Purple Pickles. Marina Metzel. Okay, you have anything you want to say about them? You good?
No, they look like a strong team.
Cool. Next team, the Paddle Beast. Kayla Benner. Kind of new to True. You know, Kayla plays. She doesn't live super close, so she's more of like a Saratoga YMCA person, but very good player. Her first player, I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anybody, Mark Nealon.
Yes.
He's a lefty, they play doubles together all the time. We all knew that pick was coming. Kevin, I'm not even going to attempt to say your last name.
Kevin S.
Kevin S. Everybody knows
right.
Kevin, another veteran, smart player. And then Jen Morrell. Jen was a Challenger League captain here.
Yeah.
I think at the last MLP. Solid player.
Very solid. She's played a lot with the Okeas group. A lot of people are familiar with Peter Foreman's group. I know I've seen her play over Emma Willard, and she's improved quite a bit over the last year from what I've seen.
Cool. Next team, Jen Ford, the Dire Dinks, with the Dire Wolf coming back here into the world. Perhaps the least surprising pick of the entire draft. Jen took Sean. Terrific mixed doubles team. They have great chemistry to put a lot of pressure on you. No one was shocked by that one. Pam Mantis, good player, veteran. She's basically been out of pickleball for 2 years with 2 different injuries. But if you know Pam back from the East Side Rec days, you know she knows how to play. Very, very good player. Rounding back into form, I think, by the end of the season.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of great things. A lot of nice things said about her. Said she's very solid.
Yep, great teammate, great person. Their other guy, Ryan Dare, you know, not a big name in the pickleball area. EJ and I kind of got him into pickleball. Former tennis player, he's tall. Him and Sean are going to be the tallest team in the league, I think. Tall, he'll hit an absolute incredible shot, and then the next one, he'll be yelling at himself because he missed it. But man, when he's on and firing, and he can cover so much ground, him and Sean are going to be a really rangy, tough men's team.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I've played with Ryan a few times, and he's like exactly what you said. Very, very surprising shots at times, and he's a great athlete, and he can cover the court well, and I'm looking forward to playing with him.
Yeah, our 4th female captain, Jess Saplansky, the Smashing Assassins. We had also talked about maybe doing some standout picks or some steals.
Yeah.
I ended up rating all 3 of her picks as standout picks. Somehow, and this is on all the other GMs that were in the room here, she ended up with a father and son from Oneonta who came last week, wanted to play. Good players, both rated about 4'8". They were in the top group of men.
Very good.
Jess was able to walk away with both of them. And then on top of that, her woman is Emily Lorillard, is that how you pronounce her last name? And if you don't know Emily yet, get ready to see her. Former collegiate tennis player. She probably has the highest upside of any woman in the draft, in my opinion.
She's very new to the area. Her and her husband Okan have been playing quite a bit lately, and yeah, from what I hear, she's getting better every time she plays. So.
Yeah, I tried to save a couple points to get Emily, but like an idiot, everyone had already seen her. Everyone knew how good she was, and I didn't have a chance in hell. But the fact that Jess was able to get 2 highly rated men, and then still able to get Emily.
Yeah, definitely the steal of the draft, in my opinion.
Yep.
I mean, these 2 were ranked. If you could see the list, and maybe we'll put it up on the screen for you, but you see the list of our players here. These 2 from Oneonta were the 2nd and 3rd highest rated duper. We obviously know they have great chemistry. The father and son have played a ton of split tournaments, and if you look at their duper, they've won probably 80% of the games they've played. So to walk away with those 2 for 50 points, now keep in mind you're only given 100 points, and they got number 2 and 3rd highest duper rated pick with just 50 or 51 points.
Yeah, 51.
You can see that was a great pickup, and she is going to have a team that's going to be very tough.
Great job by Jess. She just took advantage of the way the bidding went. You know, I think some people were a little hesitant because even though they met the guys from Oneonta, they weren't sure, and Jess just
pulled the trigger.
Yep, great picks. It worked for her. She put in bids that she probably thought she was going to get outbid, and then they kind of fell into her lap. She did a great job.
And because of her grabbing those 2 for such a low number, that set her up to grab Emily.
All right, next team, my team, Shake and Bake Pickleball Club. So to me, I got Tyler Bessie. He's the GM or the head of pickleball over at Bosque Sports in Massachusetts. Good player. I think he was the 4th rated man.
4th rated, but a lot of people who know Tyler would say that duper is. Sometimes the duper numbers can be a little high or low. A lot of people would put Tyler probably up near the top. So don't let him being at 4 fool you. He's probably one of the best players in the league.
Yeah, in my plan, I was targeting Tyler from the beginning. My plan was to get him. Once those top 3 men went, though, after Tyler, it kind of felt like you went from like a number 1 guy to maybe more of a number 2 guy, and the bidding went crazy. Tyler was the most expensive player drafted. I spent those points. I wanted him. My plan was to try to have 2 very strong men to hopefully help carry the team. But I had to sacrifice a lot.
It wasn't easy.
Points.
You had a lot of bid. Who was it?
Marina and I were going high there, and somebody else was bidding as well.
It really pushed you up to that 70.
It pushed me up there. So my other members, I got Allie, who I played with and won a title with before. We have pretty good chemistry.
Very solid.
Very solid player. And then Sam Schwartz, a little bit newer to the high-end pickleball tennis player. She's been getting the more advanced open plays here. Stuff like that. Good energy. I think she's going to be a great teammate. We might have the shortest girls in the league. We might have this, between Tyler and I, we've got some height, and then we might have the shortest women's team. So that's us. That's Shake and Bake Pickleball Club. Eric Jackson, he's the Hustlers. He ran a team last session, also called the Hustlers. Pretty good. Quickly improving. He hasn't even been playing for a full year yet, I don't think.
No.
Maybe a little over a year. Lefty. He's got a nice game. So he got Natalie Weaver. She hasn't been around for a little bit now. I won a title with her last 2 MLPs ago. Tennis player, rip, maybe the biggest backhand in the league.
She has a pretty strong forehand too.
Yep, she can fire. She's taken a little time off to think about her pickleball game. She's ready to go. She's excited. She'll be fresh there. And then these 2, Mike Tran and Nadia, who I can't even pronounce her name. Sean got them into the league, so he might be able to give us a little insight onto Mike and Nadia.
Yeah, Mike was, I ran into Mike, we played a little bit over at Emma Willard for some open plays, and I got him over here to True, and we've played quite a bit on our Sunday evening crew, and very, very good player, tennis background, I believe, very quick, fast, and just really great at the line, and he can move super well. Very solid player.
Despite not a lot of people knowing him, we did talk to everybody about, we tried to get realistic to everyone. he had a pretty hot bidding war going for him. I can't remember who was in it with Eric, but you know, I won't say all the points here, but he went for a nice number.
Yes.
So I think what Sean had talked about him being athletic and a tennis player, people got excited about the idea of maybe a dynamic number 2,
Yep.
or maybe even a guy who might be able to be a fringy number 1 guy for you. So he went for a pretty high amount there. And then
Yeah.
Nadia.
And Nadia is someone me and Jen know. We've worked with her for quite a while now. Very, very nice girl. Was a high school tennis player. I believe she went to states for it. You can tell when she plays that she was a really great tennis player. She hits the ball hard. She probably, if I could compare her, she is just like Natalie, except a little even less experienced. She's very new to the competitive side of pickleball, but I talked to her. She's super excited and looking forward to it. And she's just one that's going to get better every time she plays.
Cool. Okay. Next team, ATP, Mike McGovern. Mike was a wild card coming in. He showed up early. I thought he was doing like business work, and I walked over to say hi, and I realized he had like 4 notebooks and a spreadsheet.
He
of
looked
stuff.
like he was investing in the stock market.
But Mike was all in on this draft right up until the moment it started, and then I thought he was taking a nap on the table next to Marina.
Yeah, he didn't bid.
He did not bid for a while. I think he was kind of biding his time and points. You know, we didn't keep track of every bid, but he didn't even get his first player drafted until the bottom third of Duper list. You know, this wasn't rated on how we thought players were. We went solely on Duper list here. So he kind of took his time, decided, and you know, with Mike's style, I think he can do that.
He is crafty.
You know,
he might have had some underlying plan.
He's going to put pressure on you. Like, you know, a player who you might think is really good might not fit Mike's style.
Yep.
You know, so we'll go over Mike's team here. He got Okan, Emily's husband. I don't want to just refer to him as Emily's husband. He's getting. I said it right in the room. You know, I played with Okan about 3 or 4 times now. Each time I play with him, I'm like, oh, he's added this. He's getting a little better. Rock solid player. Not a lot of the high-end players might know him yet.
Yep.
But you know, he's young. He seems young. I guess I don't know how old he
He's
is.
also very much. Him and his wife, both upsides.
Athletic. You know, he's got some power. He can drop. He can do some stuff. You know, and I think he'll listen to Mike. You know, they'll be able to play a style that Mike likes, and I think Okan will go with that and be able to do it. And then Patty, I think everybody kind of expected he would get Patty. They played together every MLP, even when it looks like she wants to murder Mike.
Yeah.
Again, Patty's duper is not in line with what kind of player Patty is.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, so Mike was smart to save some points down here, and he bid pretty high on both of his women, and he took them because he had the points for it. So, you know, he got Patty, who's going to be really good, and then their other female is Ange, who works here. If you don't know Ange, young, she's like 20, 21.
Very athletic.
Athletic, quick. You know, she doesn't quite have the lob of Mike, but man, if you're looking for a player who plays a similar style, like Ange will rip.
She can hit a very hard drive.
She rips, and I think it's the softball swing. You know, she can rip it. She's a lefty, which is always difficult. So I think considering that Mike took some time, you know, I think that women's team, if they can gel, can be pretty strong. And then Mike's going to be dangerous. All kinds of rock solid player there.
Yeah, and if anyone can make them or help them to gel, Mike has a lot of experience kind of helping out younger players in the past. So I think they're in a good spot with him.
Yeah, and then the last team, the Net Ninjas, captained by Jim Mitchell. Jim got Adam, I think it's Simone.
Something, yeah.
Massachusetts guy, Pittsfield dude, highest rated duper, really solid, good,
All around.
good player. He can do a bit of everything. Jim had the same strategy to me. We talked about it afterwards. He wanted a super solid guy, and he got him, and he paid for it, but not quite as much as I would have guessed.
No.
You know, he did not pay as much as I thought he would, but then left him some money. You know. He bid on some other high-level females, didn't quite get him, got outbid, kept saving his money. He pulled the trigger on Ginger a little bit lower, and he was really happy with it. He's like, Ginger's going to get everything back.
Yes.
You know, she's going to be a good pair with Jim or Adam. You know, either one of them really great defensive player, can do some stuff on offense. He was thrilled. And then he grabbed Alex at the end. Alex is duper again. A little inflated because she played as like underrated because she played as like a 14-year-old, you know, Jen's daughter, Tyler's sister, and there was a little bit of bidding going on there. People wanted her,
Yeah, she played really well this past Sunday.
We had a Sunday
and I think
like a draft combine. She
Yep.
played well, and I know Jim was thrilled. Like he was very excited to get her. So
Yeah.
those are our teams there.
All right, so we pulled 3 anonymous high-level players and asked them to grade each of these teams that were drafted. And want to talk about a little bit about the grades they received?
And we can talk a little bit about the grades too. The Purple Pickles, that's Marina's team. So the grades were a B, a D, and a B.
Interesting.
It is interesting. So the person who gave them a D commented that they were worried maybe about the men's pair, EJ and Frank. They weren't sure if it would quite be strong enough to get there. I don't know that there's a pure number one. EJ's taking some time off.
Yeah.
Frank's a good player. I probably would have fallen in line there too. Somewhere in the B range. Rock Solid team. That women's team is going to be, maybe the best women's team.
Yeah.
And because the women are so good, it's going to make the mix dangerous. But I think I kind of agree with the ratings. A lot's going to hinge on the men for that team.
I think so, especially with EJ taking a lot of time off and Frank, he does play a lot. But what I see with those two is in the past, they have played great, but they've been playing usually with another male who's maybe the leader or a very strong male. To see both of them together, it'll be curious to see who kind of takes that lead and really helps direct the team, the men's team when they're out there. Could be EJ, could be Frankie. They both have great attitudes, so I think they will play well together. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I agree. I will say that I think this team could surprise people a little bit with chemistry. I don't know, EJ and Frankie haven't played a ton, but Frank and Kate have played a ton.
Yep.
EJ has played with Marina and Kate a ton.
Yeah.
So there is some really good chemistry there already. Okay. So then we'll go to the Paddle Beasts. That's Caleb Benner's team. We got a C+, a B-, and a C+. So that's right in there. Kind of people are thinking middle of the pack. Mark and Kevin are both good players. I think people are wondering who will be the alpha there.
Right.
And then Kayla and Mark obviously have great chemistry. I don't know if Kevin and Jen have ever played. So the people who rated them kind of thought they would be, that middle of the pack-ish.
Right. No, that seems like a good grade.
Yeah.
It's one of those teams we'll have to kind of wait and see, like you said, to see who steps up and who takes charge. Who I guess the mixed team is kind of already set. But, who kind of takes charge? Who plays left? Well, left right is pretty easy. And that's super interesting. Is one thing that me and Jen have discussed is like you just mentioned, like it's no surprise when probably Mark and Kayla would play together. But with this format we have in the Dream Breaker, where you can't play with the same person you played with in the regular game, it's gonna add a strategic element, because there may be times where, well, I know I can get our team to Dream Breaker, but if I do I want to save my best mixed team for that Dream Breaker? And so
that was a big discussion at the draft too. People were really thinking about the strategy.
Yeah, because of that, Mark and Kayla, such as partners like me and Jen, we might not be able to play every time, because there might be a strategic component to the game that said, hey, you know what, maybe it's better if we save ourselves and maybe play in the Dream Breaker. So it'll be interesting to see how the captains handle those strategic choices.
Yeah, I think it's going to add a fun element the way this Dream Breaker is set up a little bit. All right, so then we're going to go to the Dire Digs. That's Jen's team. B-, B ratings.
Nice.
Rock solid. The talk was clearly Sean and Jen. Probably the best mixed doubles team here. That's going to give them a great spot. Pam has been a great player. How does she recover from injuries? Ryan, inconsistent when he's on. It's going to be a dangerous team. I think a lot hinges on Pam and Ryan. You kind of know what you're going to get with Sean and Jen, and I think that's why in that B range, that's why those people, set them up in there. You know what to expect. This is going to be a good team.
Yeah.
B's are great grades here, as we'll see as we go on.
Like those grades, Pam Mantis, like you said, will be the one to look out for. I know in speaking with Jen when she drafted her, I know a lot of us we don't know Pam that well, but we took a lot of recommendations from what others have said. Marina, Greg, enough people have said such great things about her. We thought it would be be a good choice to pick her up. So.
Cool. We're going to move on to Jess's team, Smash and Assassins. These ratings, based on what Sean and I have already told you, shouldn't be a shock to you. A plus A. You know, even the people who didn't necessarily know the father-son from Oneonta, they saw the Dubers. We talked to them about. We had played with them. We talked about their styles. Home run draft. Like we're beating a dead horse at this point.
Yeah.
An absolute home run of a draft. How did that translate to the court? We're going to find out. But in terms of when you just look at how a team is built, Jess crushed it.
Just the fact that they have that chemistry from playing together is going to be huge. And from what I hear, I got to play with the kid. He's very solid 16-year-old, hits the ball hard. And
got some touch at the net too.
Yeah,
like,
and
he's not
he's
just
got
a blaster.
touch. But from what I hear his father, I didn't get to play with his father, but I heard he's super solid, gets everything in, and is more of a kind of setup guy, and that he doesn't put the
No, that's the right move. He doesn't make any mistakes. You know, he's basically setting up his son to crush it, but like he's not a bum. You know what I mean? Like he's a good player. He can do more. I definitely know how I would set up their mixed doubles team. Jess, I'm not going to tell you that. Figure it out on your own. I know how I would do it. Good luck to you. All right, so then we're going to move on to Shake and Bake Pickleball Club. That's my team. B-, C, B+. This was actually the most fluctuation kind of in draft. Most teams were like all pretty close. This one kind of ran the gamut. A C is like bottom of the pack. When you look at B-, you're like okay, and then B+ is one of the higher grades.
Yeah.
I think some of the comments were Greg and Tyler are going to be a very difficult team.
Oh, extremely. Greg and Tyler will probably be definitely one of the strongest guy teams out there. They have a history of playing.
We played. He actually subbed on my MLP team last time. We got a couple.
Great.
I think we have a very similar style. I think we mesh very well. We're both tallish. So that was the comment. They thought we were going to be strong, and then it was basically
it's up to see
how the ladies go.
A little inexperience there.
With Sam, yeah.
But I have worked with Sam in a few classes, and she's super hungry. And same as a couple of these players. These players that are hungry, and you can see that they want to get better, and they're playing every day. You can see the progress, and she's no different. She's getting better every time.
Yeah, and they want to get a chance to play with some of the better players in the areas. I know we didn't get a Diego in this. But this is a great MLP, and it gave us a chance with some of those top players deciding not to play. It gave us a chance to get some younger tennis players in here who have been wanting to crack into this group and play, and to give themselves a chance, because it's tough to get into high level.
It is very.
And this is giving them a chance to get into those games and prove that they can hang and that they can play there, which I think is an exciting part about this.
Not only exciting, but it's just great for our pickleball community because we're really just helping bring these younger players who are just getting into the game and have all the athletic ability in the world. We're bringing them in and getting
more inclusive,
more
get
advanced
these people
players.
playing. Yeah,
and it's just going to help them overall. It's going to help everybody get better.
Yep, and that's been one of my big things that's coming on here. True, I'm trying to build better players from the bottom up. With our pros here and getting some of these people a chance to get here and play. I'm excited for. All right, so enough spiel by me there. Let's go on to the Hustlers, Eric Jackson, C+, B-. So that's right in the range. I think the big question on Eric's team was people don't really know Mike Tram. They don't really know Nadia. Some of the players, some of the people we polled know Natalie, even though she's been out a little bit. Some of them don't really know Eric that well. So I think this is kind of a team where maybe the high level people just don't know them enough yet. Next up, ATP. That's Mike McGovern. I think this might be the only one where they were rated exactly the same on all of them. B-, B-, B-.
Nice.
So that is a team that people think is a good team. Not top notch right now, but like
very solid.
It's a solid team, and I completely agree because what you're going to get with Mike. I feel pretty confident in knowing what you're going to get from Okan now. He's a solid player, and then Patty and Ange, I actually think are going to be, if they can, by the end of the season when they get used to each other. With Patty's all-around game and Ange's power, righty-lefty as well, I think that's going to be a really good.
They could surprise a few.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good team. And then let's go to Jim's team, the Net Ninjas. B+, B-. So we're at an average B there.
Okay. Oh, right.
Rock solid team, right? That's what you're thinking. You're looking at Jim, you're looking at Adam, who's the highest rated player. You see a good men's team. You're looking at Alex, who's young. You know what you're going to get from Ginger. I think maybe on the women's team, you're saying, where's the firepower coming from? Could be Alex.
It could be Alex.
It could be Alex, but I think when you look, they're going to be good in men's. They're going to be good in mixed, and they're going to be kind of sneaky good in the women's. So
Yeah.
I think those grades are. I would have graded them right in that same realm.
I guess I would too. Yes, Ginger she gets a lot back. She is like a pesky bug.
Yeah.
I've gone against her many times, and she can get almost any ball back. Alex can be inconsistent at times, but when she is on, she can hit the ball harder than anybody and can put it away. So yeah, like you said, I think with her, with
Alex
and
Ginger.
with Ginger's ability to get the ball back and Alex's ability to put the ball away, I think they could be a dangerous team.
Yeah, and I kind of said this in the meeting too, as we were talking about Alex. For people that didn't know her, I think not being on Tyler's team, who's an incredible player, not being on Jen's team, who's an incredible player, and kind of building into her own player. And I think playing with them is obviously great for her because they're both terrific.
It's got
but
her to a certain point.
I think kind of stepping away a little bit and being able to take a little bit more court and being able to kind of find her own identity, I think could be really, really good for her. Alex is going to be a great player, and maybe even by the end of the season.
I think so.
Okay, so we're gonna get ready to wrap up here. Sean, I know you didn't really have a great chance to think about it. Early favorites, any teams you were thinking of? I can help run down some players if you want. You know, Marina, she got EJ, Frank, Kate, Kayla's team, Bart, Kevin, Jen's team, Jess Zaplansky we talked about. You know, we got my team, Eric the Hustlers, Mike, Jim. You know, any early favorites here in your mind?
I mean, I have to stick with the trend and say an early favorite would have to be Jessica's team.
Jess Zaplansky, yeah.
Her team is
The father, son, and
No, the
Emily.
name
Oh,
of
the team named Smash and Assassins.
Smash and okay, yes, Smash and Assassins. Well, I'll go with them as an early favorite.
Yeah, same here. The ratings from the three anonymous pickleball players also agreed. At least on paper, I don't know how.
Yeah.
I mean, even the chemistry, at least with the father and son, are going to be great. So like, they're not even like we can really question chemistry issues. To at least the men's team is going to be terrific.
Yeah, I would put them as a favorite. A close second, I would say you guys, your team, Jim's team. There's a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams that are very comparable in this, and each team's got. I feel like every team's got one little segment that we're kind of just going to have to wait and see how it plays out.
Yeah.
But on paper, yes, I would say that
That
Jess's team would be one. Your team is going to be extremely hard because I do think having two really strong guys could be a benefit. I think guys could really help, especially with the younger girls on your team. You guys could really help cover them a little bit, and you're going to be a little dangerous. But
Cool.
It could be any team on there that could just all subs.
I agree. I think it's pretty balanced. On paper, Jess's team's clearly the favorite, but I think the league feels pretty balanced. And then dark horses, I got a couple listed here. And it's tough to say dark horse, but I think because we have such a strong favorite, I don't think anybody thinks that the Dire Dinks can't win, so it's tough to call them a dark horse. But I think you got our dark horse. You and Jen are going to be so dangerous. Even with Pam's injury, Ryan can cover so much court. They can be a dangerous mixed team. You and Ryan are huge. And then I think Jen and Pam, I think their styles are going to mesh really well with Pam. A little bit safer, smart, and Jen's aggression. I think you guys are dark horse. I think you're going to be a great team. And then I had actually listed the Purple Pickles with Marina's team, kind of because what I said before. You know, I'm not sure EJ or Frank which one's going to be the alpha male, but I think their women are going to be great. And then I kind of brought it up at the end with them. I think their chemistry that people don't think about, with how much EJ has played with Marina and with Kate, and how much Frank and Kate have played together.
That's true. Frank and Kate did play quite a bit.
They played compass draws and stuff that, you know, so I think EJ can play with either one of the women. My guess would be probably he'll go with Marina because Frank and them, and then Marina and Kate play a ton.
You know, they're both super smart players. Too,
yeah. So to me, I think the question when people had rated them was which man becomes an alpha. I know EJ will give me a hard time about that, but I think their chemistry makes them a really good dark horse. I don't know if you have another team or anybody that you think might make a run. You know, everybody. You know, it's good.
Yeah,
it's really solid, man.
When I was looking at it was tough. There were, like I said, each team has a little something that we may need to wait and see. But overall, it's very, very even. It could be. It would not surprise me if any of these teams were in first place halfway through the season.
Right, and I think the way it was drafted, I'm going to be very surprised, and maybe that happened, if you see a lot of 4-0s, like a lot of 4-0 wins where everybody gets swept.
Yeah.
You know, I think you have some real strong men's teams, you know, and then, you know, one team might have a couple really strong men, but then might, you know, the women might not be there. Or like maybe one of their mixed teams. You know, I think every match is going to, I think you're going to see some really competitive matches. I don't, even Jess's team, I don't see blowouts.
No.
And maybe I'm wrong on that. So thank you, True. Thank you, Selkirk. I don't know.
Yes.
Thank you, Stacks Espresso Bar. They're doing some sponsor work for us. I think they'll probably be Stacks Espresso Purple Pickles, if I had to guess there.
Nice.
Thank you, Sean. He's been a huge help to me.
Thank you.
We're doing the video. He's going to do some highlights for us. We're going to do some cool stuff.
Yeah, should be a really fun time.
Yeah, we're rolling out
So-
Sunday, 6 o'clock. You're playing 2 games a night. We'll have the full schedule. We'll drop pretty soon here. We'll see everybody Sunday.
All right, see you guys Sunday.